Here you are, successful in business, happy marriage, lots of friends, family. I was bulletproof. Nothing ever bad happened to me, nothing ever bad happened to Gloria, ever. I kissed her goodbye one morning, and all of a sudden, the worst thing that could ever happen did. Some months later, all alone in my home, in the middle of the night, it was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was flipping through a magazine, not paying any attention whatsoever, just busy fingers, and my fingers stopped on a page, and I was compelled to look. And I felt at that moment that was God's message to me that that's what I should be doing for the rest of my life. I am dedicated to the mission of saving these babies' lives. I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. As I was growing up, I wanted to be an FBI agent, but they had height requirements at that point in time. I contacted them to see what the requirements were, and it had to be 5'9". Now you can be 5'2" and 800 pounds. Okay, so. The main thing in my life that helped me to succeed and to build my foundation for life was to play sports. I was a left halfback of football, played in the Orange Bowl. It built character and gave you a lot of confidence. I could still smell the grass, really. My wife and I were married for 32 years. I always wanted to be a father, and my wife always wanted to be a mother. We had 2 miscarriages, one on a Christmas Eve. She had said to me that her only disappointment in life was not being able to bear children. And that was not a disappointment to me, that was just a fact. And so we nurtured all the nieces in our family and nephews. We nurtured 14 godchildren, and that's how we fulfilled that void. Gloria, that particular day, was going to the stores to prepare for our 32nd wedding anniversary. We were going to have a party at our home. And she had just come back from the bank and was going to the stores, and the accident occurred. It was caused by a speeding driver. All of a sudden, everything's changed. Your life has changed, your wife is gone, you're by yourself. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know what my life would be at that point in time. And you ask yourself all those questions. I had some good people working for me, so they actually helped run the business for like 4 or 5 months after her accident. That helped me a lot. And then there's a lot of support from a lot of people at my office, from church, friends. There was a lot of people that came to support me. You never get over any of these disasters, never ever. You just learn to cope with it. If you don't have faith, you can't make it. It was God's plan, and I realized that, and there's nothing I could do about it. And so I decided to turn all of my energy to be positive. But what really, really made me focus was when I was flipping through that magazine and my finger stopped on that page. Why would that happen? And I looked at it, and it was about an escalating crisis in the world, that babies were being abandoned all over the world. I went to the office the next day, and I told the employees that work for me, I know what we're going to do. And they said, what? And I said, we're going to save babies from being abandoned. They said, how are we going to do that? I said, I don't know, but we'll figure it out. I knew we had to create a foundation. I never created a foundation before. I created a company, and that was easier to do. Okay, foundations, there were all kinds of requirements, and you know, you just can't create a foundation. You have to submit it to the IRS, and they have to approve it. So I went to somebody that I knew that was a client, and he said, "Yeah, I can help you create the documentation for the charity." Great. So he did, and we submitted it to the IRS, and it didn't pass. I'm at the cemetery one day, and there's nobody there. I'm the only person there. And a monarch butterfly flies by, and for about 5 minutes, just circling where I am at, where my wife is, right? And I'm looking, and it's just continuing. So I said, it's a message to me. Butterfly, one butterfly, it was just here, right here, right? So I went home and I redid the entire thing from scratch. And on Monday, because we had the phone number of the IRS agent and his name, I called him. And I left him a message. I was trying to get him to call me back without me telling him why I needed him. And he did. Call me back, okay? The IRS. And so I said to him, you know, we failed, we didn't pass, and I said, I understand that. I said, but I redid it. I'm gonna send it to you, and if you can tell me we're in the ballpark, if you can do that, I would greatly appreciate it. He said, send it to me. Here's my address, you know, you can mail it. I said, no, I'll FedEx it, you'll have it tomorrow, okay? So he got it the next day, and a few days later he called me back, and he said, you're in the ballpark, it's gonna pass. Butterflies represent a new beginning, and that's what we represent. Within months, we were operational. We created a 24/7 referral helpline. We had a website developed and designed. I had an IT business, so we did that from that. I did cold calling, and it started opening up the doors. The mission of the Safe Haven Foundation is to save babies from the ultimate and infant abuse, and that's abandonment. And we do that through education, direct assistance, and our 24/7 referral helpline. If we can get them help for them to keep their baby, that's our primary goal. If that's not the case, then we explain to them the other two options. One is adoption, for them to contact an adoption agency of their choice, and the other is a Safe Haven program where they will remain anonymous and fear from prosecution. It's not the answer to the societal problems that we have. Okay? That all starts in the families, but it's a compassionate approach in dealing with the issue. A baby's life is saved, a mom is saved from a lifetime of guilt and anguish, and a family hoping to adopt, their dreams are fulfilled. My goal was at the very beginning, if we saved one life, all of our efforts would be worthwhile. The name Uncle Nick comes from the babies that we have saved that feel that I'm part of their family. Here we are today statewide, and also basically, you know, we've saved 310 children from the dangers of abandonment. 310. 304 in Florida, 5 in other states, and 1 in the country of Honduras. Many of those children wouldn't be here today, many of them. My goal is to make Safe Haven sustainable, totally sustainable, to where when I'm not here, it will continue. It is important that this organization continues. The most famous quote that I believe in, it's by Mark Twain. It's the 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. I found out why.